Diablo 4 came out and there's been nothing but mixed reviews and a bunch of mixed feelings. People do praise it for some things, people don't like it for other things. I think it just depends. I'm just going to be quite honest on where you came from. If you came from like D2, D3, you probably have a more harsh criticism on D4 as it's, you know, a predecessor of these. If you come from something like PoE, you're going to have a certain mindset as well. I 100% believe it depends on where you come from, and that's going to be your view on it. I do want to state this now. I've never touched a Diablo game ever in my life. I do play ARPGs. I played PoE. I play Lost Ark, I've played Last Epoch, and I've played, you know, just a bunch of other ones that are similar. I didn't like PoE personally, just for the simple fact that it was just way too fast and not very beginner friendly. I had absolutely no idea what the hell I was doing or even how to get to certain places. It was very one-shotty as well, and it just doesn't feel good as a new player. And I do think that's more than fair to say. If the ceiling is so high, how do you expect people to kind of get into your game, right? I played Last Epoch. Last Epoch was a lot of fun. It's a good mid-ground in my opinion. It's not as fast and it's a bit easier to wrap your head around and really get into it. I really enjoyed it. Lost Ark, it's the combat's on another level, let's just be honest. Lost Ark really captures people with the amount of customization. You can have a lot of fun. The epic boss fights that encapsulates how their mechanics work, and then you have just pure scale. You can mow down just a bunch of enemies. You get to see the difference you as just a singular player make on the battlefield, you know, and how that can make you feel really, really good. Now obviously all these games have their downsides, including Diablo. When I boot up Diablo, I've had nothing but issues, even though what I did play, I quite enjoyed it. And I do mean just in terms of for what it is, not saying that there's no problems, but playing it felt good. You can tell it's a quality game. You can 100% tell that, you know, they put a decent amount of time into it and it wasn't necessarily rushed. Obviously, things like melee classes were really bad in Diablo 4, but I just want to get into some of the issues that I ran into. And I also want to take a quick second to kind of praise it in some other kind of aspects as well, especially since this is my first Diablo game. So the first thing I'm going to say about Diablo 4 100% without a doubt is that this is quality in my opinion. I look at it, I'm going like, man, the voice acting is great. Not only this, you know, just the way that they do the weapons and everything. You can see all of the weapons, you can see your progression whenever you put on new gear. You can really feel the progression as you're going through the game. And this makes you not just visually, but you can also feel like, okay, yeah, I'm actually getting stronger. Now you can maybe make a separate argument once you hit 25, you kind of feel like you're not, I don't want to say OP, but you're not making too much of a difference. Now you got to actually try a little bit. And I think that just varies person to person. Now, again, we are only in Act 1. Not sure if they're going to keep it this way, but I'm pretty sure enemies scale with you as it did, you know, in this beta test. And I'm pretty sure they're going to keep that going all the way past level 50, right? So one thing, again, that I wanted to praise as well is the skill tree. It was fantastic. It's very easy to wrap your head around it. You need to have a certain amount of skill points before you can get another one. It's very basic stuff, but having basic things can really add to the game. And what I mean is that when you have a skill tree that you can just look at, hover over it, you know, 1, 2, just click, bam, you can go. It makes it to where you can have a basic understanding of the mechanics, unlike, and I'm very sorry, but something like PoE. PoE is infamous for this, where it's just, you open up the skill tree and just, Jesus Christ, what am I looking what am I looking at? So I do think Diablo, they blow PoE out of the water when it comes to that aspect of things. I can just look at my skill tree. You can refund, you can respec, you can have a lot of fun really trying to dig into your character, what you think is good, what you feel you want to play as, and the type of play style that you want. This is something that's just, oh man, it's so good. I think, and this is subjective, I really, really believe that D4 is a really good mid-ground between like PoE and Last Epoch. I think PoE is super fast paced. You know, you start the game and you see people with like 14 million movement speed and they're just, you know, blasting through everything. And then you have like Last Epoch, where it's mainly just movement spells a little bit, at the very least, based off of what I've been playing of Last Epoch so far. It's just movement spells. And then Diablo 4 at the very least, based off of the beta, because there's mounts in the game. So we're gonna end up seeing a bit later when the game comes out about the mounts, but it seems like a really good mid ground. You can get some movement speed. You can kind of speed up like you can in PoE, just a tad bit, but it's not super insane. You could make the argument maybe that in terms of just the pacing, it's the same as Last Epoch, where you can kind of just have this mid ground of really running through the game and just using your movement spells. But again, it depends. I would say Last Epoch's a little bit slower, but again, that's purely me. So I do want to get into just some of the stuff that happened when I played this. So one, I was streaming this game over on TikTok. I know that's really random, like a TikTok streamer, what the hell? I know, but TikTok was age restricting the game, which was really weird, right? I would start the stream, I would play D4 for roughly like an hour, and then I get a notification, hey, your stream's 18 plus now. I mean, I guess, sure, you can, I guess you can. And then after that hour, right, I would get cut out. Like my stream would just end randomly by itself. And I was sitting here like, huh, why is it doing this? So I go live again. I get age restricted, that's fine, whatever, do your thing. I get cut out again, and I'm sitting here like, okay, I don't think TikTok likes this game, man. So I go over to my agency and I asked them, well, I shouldn't say I didn't necessarily ask them, but I saw in chat that a lot of people were having this issue, or at least on the TikTok platform. So then, you know, I'm going through the cutscenes. I'm on the part where you're in, I guess, like that lake sanctum where, you know, the little blood symbols on the floor with Lilith, and you walk up to it, right? And it plays like a little flashback of what's her face's mother and all these things. A couple of those cutscenes, you know, they go through, and now there's a new issue. My computer is crashing, and I'm sitting here and I'm just like, okay, what's with this game, man? Like, it just crashed my computer. I can't play this game. So I'm like, okay, maybe it was a one-off. I end up resetting my computer. I then, you know, boot up my stream, because I have two PCs, by the way. I have a gaming and I have a streaming one. My gaming PC turned off, so, you know, I check everything. I completely, you know, unplug the power cable. I make sure everything's straight. I plug it back in, all of that stuff. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I boot up Diablo 4, everything seems fine. And I get put in a queue. I forgot to mention as well, when I first started the game, I actually got in immediately because I was waiting. I was there like as the game was like minutes away from releasing, you know, straight from the countdown. I got in immediately. I played roughly like 30 minutes, and then it kicked me out by itself. Bro, I gotta sit here for 110 minutes. What is this? It kicked me out the game. And now I gotta sit here. And then I get back in. And then I played for like an hour. And then it kicked me out. And then I had to wait another 120 minutes. It was just... oh God. It was really annoying. It was not very fun to deal with that either. But back to the whole crashing my computer. It then crashes again after I boot it up, and I'm sitting here like, there's no way that it's me. I call my friend on stream, and he's just like, dude, I don't, because he's not playing Diablo 4, so he doesn't know. And he's just like, I don't believe so. So now I do have an issue with my computer, actually. Now I'm gonna state this as plainly as possible. I have no idea if it's because of Diablo or anything else. I kind of doubt that, but one thing that I'm noticing is even when I'm not playing Diablo, if I open, let's see, if I can play Fortnite for like 20 minutes and then my computer just resets completely. And I'm sitting here like, there ain't no way, man. There is no way that this is happening right now. So I want to say that's my experience in a nutshell. There's a lot of other stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. There's quite a bit more, but I just want to encapsulate my experience. I thought I'd put it out here. I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but I have a Ryzen 7 3800X and I have a 3080. So when you think about it from just a basic standpoint, there's no way my computer should be crashing on a game like this. And again, I saw the video Jay's 2 cents did about Diablo 4. I got the exact same error that he was talking about. You'll get an error, and it depends on your motherboard and it's different, but mine is called 02. That's the error code. It just means like, yo, it's probably a bad HDMI cord. Essentially, the output from the graphics card is bad. So I threw out the HDMI cord that I was using. I switched it out. Everything seemed fine. I tried it again. I boot up Diablo 4. I'm playing for like 20 minutes. As soon as, and I noticed that it was as soon as I walked into the part right before you talk to her mom as she's like sitting in the middle. It was like right before that, I would walk into the little section and it would just, my computer just crashed. So I'm not too sure how this is gonna continue or not. I didn't play the second beta release because I was just scared. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I was sitting here like, dude, I don't know if I want to play the second one. I didn't want to risk messing my computer up. I didn't want to risk, you know, having to buy a whole new graphics card and everything. I did see the update in GeForce. I did that, but I'm sitting here like, man, I don't know what to do because I switched out my graphics cards. That didn't work either. So I just, at this point, I'm kind of like, I might just need to get a new motherboard. I don't know what happened. Again, it's still all over the place. So if I end up fixing it, I'll let you guys know, but that's kind of my experience with Diablo 4. Overall, I did enjoy it. I'm gonna say that again. I know there's like bugs and stuff. I think the last thing I want to state actually is I paid for the largest version, which is I think the like super ultimate mega ultra deluxe gotcha game edition, whatever that is, because the way that I saw it, I was like, you know what, I do hear good things, and I do mean in general. I tend to hear just in general good things about Diablo, and I was like, you know what, let me just go all out. I don't mind it. I have an extremely good job. I don't mind. But then of course, when the game's crashing like that, then I'm kind of sitting here like, you know, Total Biscuit was right. We probably shouldn't pre-order game. Yo, Total Biscuit had a point. And I'm starting to kind of see that. But I mean, I don't know. It's really weird. If I were to say, was it worth it overall? I would say if it didn't crash, I probably would have said it's worth it. I'm going to be objective here. But again, I've never played a Diablo game before. This is my first experience, albeit it wasn't that great. But again, what I did play, which was quite a lot, by the way, I got up to level like 24 on my sorceress. So it was quite a bit, but with all the crashing and stuff, who knows? Overall, I'm gonna try and fix that, but I do think it was essentially worth the money from what I played. I enjoyed it. The pacing was pretty smooth. You're not like, you know, moving at a million miles an hour for absolutely no reason and stuff like that. The game does reward you for experimenting with your builds. I figured that out. I did this weird ice and lightning kind of mixture. It was a lot of fun. So I do think Diablo 4 is fun. It does suck that a lot of people went through some stuff though with the game, but I think I'll be playing that more often. So guys, thank you. I just wanted to put my thoughts out here because a lot of people went through some stuff with Diablo 4. So I'm just trying to put this out here, and I want to say thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. All right. Thanks guys.